Hello, I'm Carol Ann Deacon, and I want to thank you for being here with me on my full moon tryst. And I do these on the full moon because that brings an additional light and energetic clearing to our throat chakra. And because I work in true voice and the expression of your truth in relationship and creativity, we talk about the throat chakra. Let me just get adjusted here for a minute. So I know your time is valuable. I know you get a lot of things delivered to your email inbox and on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm honored and grateful that you chose to spend this time with me. So I want to make it every bit worth your while. First, let me talk a little bit about speaking truth in relationship. My journey, that has always been my challenge, is particularly with men, being able to comfortably say what was in my heart without fear or worry. And I used to feel like I was gagging, or I would feel like I was getting ready to get sick, or I would go into fight or flight and run. And it never worked out. And over the years, what I realized and what really shifted it for me that I want to share with you is my highest good comes when I am living in true voice, when I'm honoring my truths and living in the freedom of my truths. My highest good comes then and only then. That's my connection to God, Spirit, Source, whatever the name for you choose is. I choose God. And when that happens, when I'm aligned with my highest good and I'm in true voice, no wrong can ever come from that, even with the other people that you're working with, because there's no separation between your highest good and anyone else's, not in the big picture. When I realized that, those two things, it made a huge difference. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of allergies going on, and it was very freeing. I didn't feel that sense of guilt. I didn't feel that sense of fear and worry that I was doing something wrong. All that was layers, old layers of fear and self-sabotage that needed to go. So that's a little bit of the mindset shift, and you'll read below in the prompt. I've already touched on that there in case you don't get a chance to watch this video. The other thing I wanted to share with you about speaking your truth in relationship, there's a couple different tools that I'm going to share with you tonight. And the first one is, I've got my notes here. Let me see here. The first one is when you stay silent, when you silence your true voice, you're actually misleading somebody you love or like or care for. And in a relationship, it needs a flow, a constant flow. And your person can't navigate the murky waters of your mistruths. And I say this as, you know, as I speak my situation. For years, that's what it was. And when you don't speak that truth, you know, you are misleading them. Also realizing that helped me. It appealed to the nurturer, caretaker inside me that said, you know, I can't do that. You know, and while I was still working on strengthening that muscle of true voice, I needed these mindset shifts to strengthen it, to make it better, to make it easier, and their truth. Okay, hope that makes sense. So let's get to the physiological part, the physical voice tools that I share with my clients and my students. One way that is really empowering, and if you took Warrior, this will be a nice little refresher course. It's called Empowered Warrior Pose 1. And this is to be used when you are having a conversation that you feel amped up about and anxious and you're up in your head. You want to stand, and you want your feet to be shoulders width apart, with each hand at your side, but about 6 inches away from your side. So you're not clamped tight. You know, you're standing, you're empowered, you're calm, but you're focused. And ultimately, you're in charge. So that's the first part of Empowered Warrior Pose. Stand feet shoulders width apart and your hands to your side, but about 6 inches away with your palms open. The other thing you want to do with that is make sure that your head is not lifted up like you're asking, you know, like asking permission to be heard. That you've got a nice natural curve. Let me see if I can get this here for you, where it's nice straight neck or elongated neck and back, but then your chin is slightly dipped a little bit like that, you know, and you're looking that person in the eye. And I like to often add the thought or actual manifestation of a tiny smile, tiny, at each end of your mouth. And what that does is that imparts warmth and authenticity into your voice. And it helps you feel better. And it helps the other person feel better. You know, most of the time, these truths, you know, you want that lightening effect in there. You want that ease. And these are just some simple, easy ways that you can use. So I hope that makes sense and you enjoy that. I use music a lot in my programs. I am a professional vocalist. I do teach voice, and I've been doing this for years. And I always like to remind anybody who will listen to me to remember to use music as the healing modality that it is. It can be a transportative tool. I mean, I'm at the gym, I like to listen to Beautiful Creatures from Rio 2. And I'll be on that elliptical and I'm going to it. Let's sing and dance, calling on beautiful creatures. La 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 la. And I'll look around and there's a 60-year-old man looking at me like, you know, I don't care. I mean, in my mind, I was no longer there in Botetourt, Virginia. I was in a huge grassy field with all of you and all women standing together, just joyous in true voice. That's my corny way of explaining, but truth. Use your music as a soundtrack of how you want to feel. Another way I use song in strengthening your true voice muscle is taking, you know, if there's something that needs to be spoken either to yourself, something needs to be said aloud to yourself or to someone to kind of bring it to the forefront. First, write it down in a truth journal or any journal you may have, and then pick a favorite song of yours. Not something that makes you want to moan and groan and feel depressed, but pick a song that makes you feel good, that all is well with the world. Whatever that is for you. And sub those lyrics out for 2 or 3 sentences of that statement that you wrote down in your journal. You know, it can be anything. And you can also use that during the flow part of your menstrual cycle, or if you're no longer menstruating on the full moon, lunar eclipse, where you can sub out the lyrics of a song that you love with something you're ready to release or let go of. It doesn't have to be a truth or a conversation that you're willing to have. You can actually sub it out. Music has been scientifically proven so many times. You know, it's worth using. And you want to sing like When You Say Nothing at All by Alison Krauss. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. Sub it out. I'm ready to say goodbye to anxiety. I'm ready to live in the freedom of truth. You know, I love that song. It makes me feel good. So when I sub it out with something I'm ready to say goodbye to and a positive affirmation on the tail end of that, it's just easier to embed, easier to change thought patterns. So that's another tool I like to share. Something, keeping it quick and easy on this full moon tryst. So let me see. I'm going to cover the warrior pose. We talked about music and the mindset shift of speaking your truth in relationship. See here. I have a song called Purify that I wrote to help you retrain your mind and clear your throat chakra energetically. And it's easy. It's actually ideal for listening to and singing along with when you're in that flow part of your cycle. If you would like your own MP3 of this song, Purify, just click reply to this email saying yes to Purify, and I'll send it to you as my gift. The Hindi in the song, to translate for you, is purify my mind, oh God, purify my mind. And it's very simple, and I like to use it to calm and open my mind and bring new thoughts in. And it's simply, all is well, all is well. Oh, It's got a very Middle Eastern flair to it, but it's great for getting everything in a good, empowered flow. So that's my gift to you. It sounds a lot better on the CD than it does with me just singing it right there. But allergies are ruling right now, so I'm sorry about that. Voice is a little cracky. So I think that's enough for this video. And the other thing I'll share is that, again, this is the most important work, but it's so worth it. And if you're interested in going deeper, I'd ask you to take a look at my website, carolandeacon.com, and click under Empowered Voice Coalition. And that's what came about of my own journey and that of what I've been doing in private coaching for years. And we're getting ready to start with Mother Creator on April 17th. I'd love to have you join us. And there's a couple other things going on there on the site too. But stay this course, stay this path, use your music, use your poses, live in the freedom of your truth and let it lead your relationships. It'll happen for you. It's the best path, quickest path to your best life ever. I promise you that. And I'm going to end this with a warrior call. And we do this on all our calls. We do this in my programs too. And this is a pose or a tool that I like to use usually when I'm by myself in the car or in the shower, and it brings energy and clearing and empowerment to your voice and your throat chakra and just your mind, body, spirit. And I call it warrior cry, and it's a ya da da, but it goes quickly, like it's a ya da 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 da, or if you want a lower key, it's a ya da 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 da. I know it sounds a little nuts, but just try it. Have fun with this. It just lets it wide open and lightens it up. And it makes you feel a little more powerful too. So if you have any questions on any of this, shoot me an email. I'm just scanning over my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. It's worth reminding you that even we talked about the throat chakra being the center of purification and manifestation, the full moon, the physiological tools, all that. It's all good. It all plays a part. But if you take one thing away from this, let it be that your truth, your deepest truth, your true voice, they're one and the same. And they are your connection to your divine purpose and to your best life ever. You will never go wrong. But sometimes you got to get real still and do the inside work to reach the gold. You know, especially if you've been living for years volleying between, say, an overactive and an underactive throat chakra, which reminds me that's what I wanted to talk about that I didn't. So, an underactive throat chakra, you're not speaking it, you're swallowing it. Nowhere for it to go. Going to come back as something you don't want. An overactive is when it does come out, it's barbed and aimed to kill. I volleyed between both for years, could never find that happy balance. And it is possible. And when you're in balance, you're empowered with ease. You're speaking in true voice. It's that simple. I don't do complicated. This is not hard. It's deep. It's worth it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you've got any questions, shoot me an email. I'm sorry for the stuff in my throat. It figures this is maple season here in Virginia, and that's my biggest allergen. So I wish you all a beautiful, beautiful Easter weekend, and I hope to see you again soon. Check out Empowered Voice Coalition if you want to go deeper on this.